Okay, so we're gonna start our recording. How is that? Can you guys unmute? Is it possible? I would love to have some conversations with you. How's everybody doing today?
Great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Kathleen, remind me what office are you in?
I'm in Kingston.
You're in Kingston, okay. And Cassie, I see Bailey's having conversations. Oh, my buddy Dale is coming in. Bailey, what office are you in, honey?
James Serios office in Hancock.
I'm sorry, say that again.
James Serios in Hancock.
Okay, okay. Hey Dale, how are you?
Doing quite excellent. Thank you very much.
I like that you're doing quite excellent. We'll give this another minute, have a couple more people come in, and then we will get started. Dale, what are you guys doing for Red Day up in Middletown?
I have absolutely no idea.
Really?
Yeah. So I don't know. And normally, because we're also in the Rock Hill office,
All right.
we usually tend to also do something a little bit different, but I don't know what's happening there.
I know. I thought I heard there was going to be like a walkathon or something. But I might be.
I won't be doing that.
But I also make things up, so you never know. I come up with an idea and I think it's brilliant, and then we.
Yeah, I haven't heard enough time walking to my car, so
Okay.
good
All
luck
right.
for them.
Well, here's the thing: you can either walk or you can write a check, which is a beautiful thing, right? Pick one, and then you go from there.
Well,
right.
you know what? Yeah, I will do my Red Day donations to what is it? The LGBT Housing Initiative. So
Nice.
that's that new program. So yeah.
Cool. I love it. I think it's great. Okay. All right. So we're going to get started with our negotiations. This is the third. Was it the second or the third? I think it's the third in the series right now. So we are looking at this very pivotal point in the transaction, right? What's going on in terms of when you're doing a listing and how you're doing it. We negotiate all the time in life, right? If anybody has children, we know that we're negotiating constantly with them and in any part. So I think that from a brainstorming perspective, when we apply the daily negotiations that we have to real estate, the things that we have to negotiate on, like price and moving dates and other things. So before we jump full on into this, I just want to get if you can come off camera, just give us an idea of how long you've been in real estate and what your experience is and which office you're in. So Kathleen, why don't you start, honey?
Oh, sure. Well, let's see. I've been selling what I call retail real estate, which is what this is, since 2007.
Okay.
Before that, I managed a not-for-profit housing company for more than 20 years, creating home buying programs,
Big
developing housing, senior housing, adaptive reuse,
right.
lots of units.
Very good. All right.
And I've also been a commercial and residential appraiser.
Okay. Very good. Oh, wow. So you might be able to teach all of us some stuff today.
I doubt it. I'm here to learn.
Okay. Dale.
Yeah, so I've been in real estate, I want to say about 8 years.
Okay.
I was actually down in the city doing real estate there for the first 5 years, which was kind of fun. And then I'm a transplant up here for the last 3 years.
Okay.
So I've been with Keller Williams since I came up here.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a really tech guy. So my business more so focuses on some support of some of the local agents here as well.
Okay.
So that's why this is actually kind of important to me, so I can help them develop better marketing strategies.
Okay.
And communicating out there. So and in my role, it's a little bit different because I'm licensed. I get to have different conversations with their clients, which
Right.
makes it a lot easier than just being your standard referral agent
Okay, great.
that can't have conversations.
So just so you know, there was a little bit of confusion today. We're doing negotiations today. We're not doing marketing listings. So there was.
Yeah. That's fine.
Okay, good. All right, that's fine. Bailey, what's your story, love?
I've been in real estate for 7 months, so I'm new to the
Welcome
game.
to the party.
Yeah, which is why I'm here. And I just joined Keller like a month ago. So
Okay.
that's why I'm
Cool.
here to
All
learn.
right, very good. I like it. Elena, can you come off of mute and turn your camera on, love?
Hi, Liz.
Hello.
Yeah, I will. I just have to switch the rooms.
No worries. So, how long, you're new to real estate? Elaine's in my office, so I know her.
Yes. Well, it's going to be a year in May.
Wow, that went fast, didn't it?
Yeah, it went fast. But I'm still here to learn, and I would love to hear more about listings because that's what everybody needs now.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. Cassie. I was going to change your name there. How are you? You're usually sitting in an office with a headset on. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, no, I'm off today. It's
Very
my
good.
grandma's birthday, so
There
take
you
the day
go.
off. I've been doing real estate for about 8 months. I'm in the
Okay.
Middletown office. So
Okay. Very good. All right, Marianne.
I have been in the business for 5 years, mainly buyers, so I am definitely looking to get more listings. I'm just recouping from pneumonia and COVID for the past 3 months, so that's why I
Okay.
keep everything off. But
Right.
yeah, so
Well, you look good, and I hope you're
Thank you.
feeling better.
yes, definitely feeling better, but still coughing. So
Very
But
good.
thank
All
you.
right. Well, listen, you just take it one step at a time.
that's it. Thank you.
Dennis, can you talk to us? Okay, maybe not. And I'm sorry, I don't want, oh, there you are. Hello, Dennis.
I'm here. Yeah. Just on the phone with my son.
Okay,
Yeah,
no
so-
worries.
I am, I've been, let's see, I moved to, I was a dentist and I retired in 1994. And I came up to Woodstock with my wife and we were buying and selling properties in Woodstock and renting them. I was property manager for them and then we sold everything that we owned. It's kind of sorry now that we did, but you know, you learn.
Everything happens
Move
for a
on.
reason. It'll be revealed later. Don't worry.
So about 5 years later, about 5 years ago, I decided that my son was, my youngest son was finished with school. He was a pharmacist. And so it's time for me to get a second career besides my own. And so I became a real estate agent, worked for Coldwell Banker up until last January, this past January, and then went over to Keller Williams, really enjoying myself.
Good.
And I think it's the main thing for me is that I'm more of a buyer's agent, or I have been. Rather, I've had some listings, so that's why I'm taking this
Series.
course to try to,
Good.
like everybody else, to try to get listings. you know.
Right. Okay, very good. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I do not want to mess up your name. Is it Ebru?
Hello,
Hello.
it's Ebru.
Ebru, sorry. Okay, how are you, honey?
I'm good. I'm out on my morning walk.
Very good. And what office are you with?
I'm in Middletown.
Okay, and how long have you been in real estate?
2 years, a little over 2 years.
Okay, very good. And then the last but not least is William Phillip, who is in my office. William, good morning. I don't know if he can come off of mute. Can you do that, William? William, you there?
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How long you been in real estate, sir?
Oh, I don't remember. Too long.
852 years William's been in real
That
estate.
that is
really
hit it
good.
right on the head. Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, we're going to get started with I think you gave us enough time for everybody to get in. Good morning, Celeste. You're new to the party, and Celeste is in our office here in New City as well.
Good
So,
morning.
good morning. So, all right, when we take a look at negotiations and the things that we have to do from a brainstorming perspective, you know, price obviously is one of the things that we have to do. But in terms of whether you've been on the buy side or the sell side, what are some of the other, you know, things that come up in negotiations that you've encountered with when it comes to listing on either side for negotiations? Kathleen, any thoughts?
Sure. Well, I think you need to get behind it at the beginning what the goal is. What are they trying to achieve?
Right.
What, if they do achieve it, do they have a place to go?
Mm-hmm.
Or if it's an
That's a
investment,
big challenge right now.
right. Then if it's an investment, do they have a plan for dealing with their profit, which they definitely will have probably at this point in this market. So trying to get the baseline down about what are the features of this transaction?
Okay.
And mainly too, what are their questions? There are a lot of fears involved with who will be coming and how will that work, and just kind of roughing out the whole scenario, I think.
Right. Okay, very good. Anybody else have anything that when it comes time to negotiations that, the things that come up, so post-possession, what Kathleen had said, price obviously is one. Matt, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to negotiations, the thing that comes up the most for you that you find cumbersome? It's all just so easy.
I mean, I don't know. I always just feel like negotiation is just part of the deal, and the art of negotiation is what we get paid for.
Right, exactly. So
So I
here,
just, every
Another aspect that
negotiation.
comes up is commission.
okay, all right, well, that's, okay, yes, absolutely. But so that's on the getting the listing side. And we want to make sure that we you can definitely, that is negotiable, and we can definitely talk about that as well. So that wasn't on my list of things, but I'm very happy to talk about that. We always have to be careful when we look at commissions and we talk about it in a setting like this, because setting a commission standard, there's a lot of antitrust things, but you, being that you are in your own business, you can set commissions based on, how you want to do your business and the relationships that you have with your sellers, because your profitability is important within that. So we'll come back to that. Keeping this for a moment to the negotiating an offer for the time being. All right. There are three possible outcomes, obviously, when you're negotiating offers, and they are, something being accepted, something being rejected, or something being countered, right? Those are the three kind of phases on an offer. If an offer is rejected or countered, this is obviously where those negotiation skills come in. So, some of the common points that we typically fall into are pricing and terms. And we're seeing now, moreover, a tremendous amount of offers coming in at one time, right? So if you've got a listing and you're looking at a multiple offer situation, and you're in that, it can be very, very daunting. I mean, I know that what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing with our agents down here in New City is they're getting, 10 to 20 offers, and they're going much higher over asking in a lot of cases. And I think it's setting the sellers up for sometimes an unrealistic situation if the property wasn't priced right or what have you. But when you're doing those negotiations and working with the agents on the other side of the deal, you want to make sure that you're very clear and you keep your fiduciary responsibility, but knowing that you have to maintain a positive and professional relationship with the agent on the other side. Why don't we do some role playing? It'd be interesting to see. We'll set up a scenario and talk about, how some of those things can go. Do I have a volunteer to play with me on this? Anybody? I'm going to just pick somebody.
I'll play with you.
Okay, Dale, thank you, honey. Do you want to be on the listing side, or do you want to be the buyer?
What's the meanest?
All right, so what's the meanest?
I'll be on the buyer's side.
You want to be an aggressive buyer's agent?
I will be an aggressive buyer.
Okay, so let's say we are in a situation where we've got, it's a $500,000 listing. You're a conventional buyer, 20% down, but you have a sales contingency. Okay. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. So the offer has been presented and I'm coming back to you. Good morning, Dale. How you doing?
Liz, I'm doing awesome. How's everything going with you today?
Oh, it's just, we're living the dream, right?
We are. My buyer is so excited about having the offer accepted.
Yeah, well, we have some challenges on accepting the offer.
Challenges or opportunities?
Well, let's see how the conversation goes and we'll check
Nice.
it out.
Well, like I said, he was really excited. The loan's approved. Everything's all set to go.
Okay. This market is insane, right? And
Well,
while we got 20% down, you've got this sales contingency situation. Talk to me about this because my sellers are a little nervous on that end. Where are you in that, process?
Well, I mean, I think we're happy and fine as long as they, do the appropriate repainting on part of the house, as well as making sure that everything is in order with the septic system. I don't understand what the problem is.
Okay, well, you have a sales.
I know it's an old house, but
yeah. Listen, we'll get to the challenges with other issues, but first, in the offer you gave me, you have a sales contingency. So where are you with your buyers on the sale of their home?
Well, right now it looks like we are going to have a couple of offers in, so I don't think there's any problem. We're pretty much all set.
Okay, well, so you're all, just as well as I do, because you've been doing this for a long time, that you're all set when the contract is in.
Right, of course.
So
then I'd probably say give us maybe about another 15 days, and I think we should be all set to go.
Okay, so
because I'm sure we're going to have a multiple offer situation.
Okay, so I'm going to put a pin in this for 1 second. Okay. In the course of business, not in this market, that's a very reasonable thing to say. In this market, yeah, okay, good luck to you, dude. So, we want to make sure that we keep this professional. So I'm going to behave myself. Okay, back to our role play. Dale, I appreciate the fact that your buyer is very interested in this house and it really ticks all of their boxes, but you're not my only offer.
Yeah, but Liz, we've done business before. I'm sure you can have a conversation.
Me selling you my house. If it were me, you could just move in and I'd cook food for you. But that's not how it goes. And you know that. So is there any shot? Look, your terms are great with the exception of the sales contingency. You're putting down 20%. I love the lender. We've done a million deals together, the three of us, but the sales contingency is a problem. So how do we get rid of it? Is that a possibility? Because that's
again, like I was saying, I'm expecting that we'll be in a multiple offer situation. Like you said, you understand the market. So, with that said, I think the request is reasonable. And,
okay, but I have other offers. I have other offers. They're not as high as yours, but what they are is they don't have that sales contingency. And my people are worried if your deal goes south, they're going to be stuck with a house that's sitting on the market and they have to move too. So how do we get rid of that sales contingency? Can it be done? Can you go back to your people and have that conversation?
Well, I can have the conversation with them, but again, unless we have those, unless we have the offers or moving into contract, I don't want to lie to you.
Right, so they must sell to buy.
Correct.
All right. So look, go back, see if somebody can write them a check in the family, if they can work something out and come back to me and let's talk about it. Because I love doing business with you. We get things done and we have a good time in the process and our clients are always happy. But my people are very uncomfortable with that sales contingency.
All right. So then, give me 48 hours. I'll reach out to the client and then I'll get back with you.
Got it. I'll stall.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so look, maybe my sales contingency was a really crappy thing to throw in on you, Dale. Sorry about that. But the beauty of that conversation was that we kept it light, we kept it professional. It's not, don't make it personal. This isn't my house. This isn't Dale's house. If you get contentious in a negotiation, it's very, very hard to kind of come back from that situation. How did that feel to you, Dale?
Oh, well, for me, it felt great because in the back of my mind, as I was, if I'm like in my mind and, expecting certain things, I already had offers coming in. I just needed the 48 hours to make a decision, to get a decision made.
Right.
So in my mind, that kind of work versus I was expecting to say, okay, well, no, you need to come back to me at the end of the day. Right. So in my world, so 48 hours is a lot of time.
It is. And it absolutely is. And listen, sometimes you can't give those 48 hours, but remember, there's a goal here. And the goal is to get the deal into contract. We want the contract signing. This is dating. I always use the analogy of, we're dating and you want to get, we're looking at the ring at this point, right? So there's no, let's see if we can get to the altar.
But I also think the important piece is from a buyer's agent perspective is that you have to be willing to go back to your buyer as soon as possible to let them know, what the problem is. And, let me know if you want to go through with the deal or not. Right. Because it's easier for me to call you back and go, okay, they don't want to do it.
Yeah, they're out and they can't do that. And look, I think the other bit of it, and I really didn't push back hard on you, but we can do some more role playing to get to a little bit more of a difficult situation. But, one of the challenges becomes is that if it gets contentious, and maybe Matt, would you be contentious with me? I can't hear you. You're muted.
What was that?
Will you be, would you do a contentious negotiation and see if we can, you want to be difficult? Because you're not difficult normally, but. Okay, well, set the scenario up and let's see how we can play it. What would you like it to be? You want to be the seller or the buyer?
I'll be the seller.
Okay.
I'll represent the seller.
Okay. Putting in an offer right at asking. I have cash, but I have demands.
Okay.
Okay. So, hey, Matt, good morning. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm good. So I sent you an offer. Did you receive it?
Of course.
123 Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, my people are very interested in moving forward very quickly. As you see, it's a cash offer. We're putting down, 30% to start. The property is in some rough shape though.
Okay.
So, what are where are they willing to work on this? Because my people are concerned about the roof. They're concerned about the drainage. There are a lot of issues there that, and many of them structural.
How do we define those structural issues? Who defined those?
Well, my guy's a contractor, so we're obviously going to go in and do an inspection. But he saw some problems when he was there, when he was looking around. Listen, there's moss all over the roof. It looks like there's 3 layers on it. There's erosion. Clearly we're in need of French drains around the property. I mean, this can't be a surprise to anybody when you take a look at what's going on over there. So, my people are willing to pay full price for it, but they may need, some help on the repairs or what have you, or are your people willing to do anything? Because I think that's going to be an issue.
So then your people aren't willing to pay full price for it.
Right. You say that again, Matt, you got quiet.
So people are not willing to pay full price.
Well, they're willing to pay full price, but if we get a report back that says that, there are structural issues, what are your people willing to do?
Well, I guess we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. I mean, we did price it according to the market and made adjustments based on known conditions.
Hold on, Matt, is anybody else having trouble hearing him? Yeah. For some reason, you got very quiet, Matt.
How about now?
It's a little bit better.
Is it any better?
Yeah.
I know you can't see me if I turn this way.
Actually, no, it's not. I don't know what happened.
It's not better. Hold on.
I can't hear you at all.
You can't hear me at all.
Well, I mean, I am old and slightly deaf, but I'm having is it only me or is anybody else? Can I get a show of hands? Can anybody hear? Matt, sing a song, Matt. Let's hear if we can hear you.
Sing a song? No, I don't sing. Sorry.
Well, I heard that, but it was low. All right.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can
it's
hear
not
him. It's
only
not
you.
perfect, but it's all right.
Okay. All right. As long as everybody can hear. So, all right. So continue what you were saying, Matt.
I was saying that when we put it on the market, we adjusted prices based on conditions. We know what the conditions are and we know what they're not. So we're aware of exactly what the house looks like.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
if you
is
buy it
this
from there-
100% as is situation then? They're not willing to do anything.
Well, I never say never. What's most important to your client?
I think the challenge for them is that the drainage and they don't listen. Water is a terrifying prospect in the world of home ownership. So I think that's what they're worried about.
Okay. But if he's a contractor, he knows what it's going to cost him to fix that drainage.
Yeah, and yes, but he also is not, that's not the kind of work that he does. So he's structural engineering. He doesn't want to do any kind of major digging or drainage or what have you.
So he's calling out the issues, but it's not his expertise or his specialty. And so we
Right.
don't
Well,
really know
listen,
what
we
the
need to,
problem is
we
or
need,
not.
so, okay, so you know what? I think it's a preliminary situation. If we get an accepted offer and can we get an accepted offer based on the fact that we think that there is things may have to be addressed with the inspection? And will they be open to conversation about inspections issues?
Liz, we'll always have a conversation. I'm just confused because you're telling me that your client is a structural engineer and does structural problems and has already inspected the property. And now you're saying that they're still going to do an inspection.
Well, he looked, he didn't inspect it. He wants to bring in a third party to have that kind of conversation, but he's identified stuff. So is it possible that it's something that they would address if a home inspector sees an issue?
I mean, based on other offers that come in, as long as we don't have any other better offers, I'm sure that we can work on something.
Okay, so full price, cash, 30% down with the possibility of dealing with inspection items. Can we move forward?
I'll have to check with my client and get back to you on it.
Okay. When can you get back to me?
By the end of the day.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You got it.
All right, so look, that wasn't as contentious as it could have been. And I think the reason is because keeping it light and keeping it positive are, the ways to go. And we don't take things personally. Was my client ridiculous asking for things that we hadn't even seen? Yes. Should I and Matt diffused the situation beautifully. So scared of you, Matt. Nice job. So look, when you're moving forward in a negotiation, it's really important to have a very clear goal as to what you want to achieve. And Dale and Matt both did that very, very nicely in the sense of you want to get to contract. I wanted to find out what was going to happen with these inspection items. We're moving forward, and it's always kicking the ball down the field to make sure that you have the conversation because you're moving towards that goal. Matt also asked a very important question in term, and he said, what is your client's expectation? Understanding. So in that conversation, when you present an offer, or even before you present an offer, what is the most important thing to your seller? Is it price? Is it terms? Is it the closing, what have you, when they can get out, can they do a post-possession? Finding out on the buyer side, what's the most important thing so that you know what they need. Yeah, and Matt is saying too, very important. You can't take things personally. It's not about me, it's about the client. You only get offended. Wait, hold on. I gotta open that up more. Only get offended if it's my client is offended. Right. So the thing is, take yourself out of this. This isn't about you. What is the end game and how do we get to that point? I think too, and one of the ways to make sure that nobody's getting offended or you're very clear is to have a really clear conversation with your client, right? So when you are making these offers or having the conversations, knowing what your client's expectations are, setting the realistic, don't under promise. You want to make sure you under promise and then over deliver, right? Because you don't know, and we cannot control anything about what someone else is going to do. So once you have a very clear set of expectations set with your client, and then you're talking to another agent on the other side, you can look, we're working together. This person that is on the other side of this deal is somebody that you can negotiate with back and forth. Okay, we have a question here. Can we talk a little bit about appraisals coming in lower than the purchase offer? In this market, many homes sell well above asking. I have a client concerned about not having enough to make up the necessary gap. Okay, yeah, that's a big issue right now. So I'm gonna mess up your name. Is it Ebru? I'm sorry, I should have written it down.
That's okay. It's Ebru.
Ebru, okay.
Yeah.
So
Or you could call me Abby.
Abby, I like that better. Okay, Abby. So tell me, can you go a little bit? So is this a listing that you have, or you're on the purchase side?
Well, the buyers. I'm a buyer's agent right now. Well, I'd like to have both, but I'm currently talking about a client that we're looking at condos, and since everything, a lot of homes are multiple offers, highest and best. So he's offering higher, well above asking, but then we're afraid with the appraisal, if it comes back lower, and he's concerned not having that money, to pay that
And
difference.
does he not have money to go over ask or money to fill the gap? So let's just say it's a $300,000 appraisal and your offer was 320 and the bank won't loan on it. Does he not have the money to make up the gap?
I think I'm not sure. He does have money. He likes to know exactly how much, beforehand, I guess.
Okay, so in terms of a situation like this, you can put clauses in. So you can say, we will pay X amount of dollars or X percentage over an appraisal, the appraised value.
Okay.
If that's important. Thank you, Matt. It was good to see you. From the perspective of getting the deal done, nobody wants to overpay for something, right? And I think it depends on where everybody is in terms of their comfort level. So what I would do, Abby, with this is I would find out what he's comfortable with, or paying, offer proof of funds. And look, 2 years ago, we never would have even had a conversation about waiving an appraisal contingency. It wasn't even something that we thought of. And now, because we're in such a limited listing situation and there's such a shortage, we're doing these crazy things. But we want to mitigate the risk for our buyers and sellers, and get our sellers the most amount of money. So what I would say, Abby, in that situation is find out what he's willing to pay over, present the offer. And we're seeing offers coming in where if it does go above asking and it does go above appraisal, you just put a limit on it. so that he's
Mhm,
comfortable.
mhm.
Does that
And
answer your
that would
question?
go, yes. I think he mentioned to me he's willing, like, approximately 5,000, let's say. So when I write up the offer, I would put that into the conditions. Buyer willing to pay a gap of $5,000 above. Is that?
Here's the thing, you absolutely can do that. And eventually it all comes out in the wash and it would get into the contract. But again, this is about positioning yourself a way to get the conversation moving. So put the offer in and say appraisal contingency to be determined, and and have the conversation, because again, finding out what's important on the seller side is a great way. Knowledge is power in anything, and within negotiations, it's a great way for you to figure out how you can do this in such a way that it's packaged for everybody. Escalation clauses are also a really good negotiation tool, in the sense that you can go, because they have to prove them. So that's another way too. And if he's got the money to do this from a negotiation standpoint, showing that there is a proof of funds to go over as you're having this conversation is a good way to, build, to keep the conversation going until you can get what you want.
Okay, so along with the mortgage, with his pre-approval, you're saying to also show
Proof of
proof
funds.
of funds. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, love. Dennis,
Thank
what's
you.
going on, sir?
Yes, and I have very couple of very similar situations. One of them, we waived the contingency of the appraisal.
Mhm.
And we also said that the inspection is for the buyer purpose. So,
Information only.
right, information only. So basically, now we got very nervous after that. I don't recommend doing that. And it just so happens that there was a loss in the family for my buyer, so she had to back out before, right after the inspection. So, we didn't have to worry about that. But I had another one that he didn't want to waive the contingency, which I didn't recommend that he do that, of the appraisal. But that he said that, in the discussion with the listing agent, she asked for how much could he come up in the appraisal. And my client agreed to 10,000. It's not in writing at this point. It probably is going to end up when we go to contract, coming back from the seller's attorney. But I also said that we would split it. So if the amount was, say, 20,000 that it appraised under, that my client would come up 10 and that their client would
Right. That's
come
exactly
down
what I was saying to Ebby. And the thing is that you need to get that in writing, because if you're and let the attorney structure the language. We don't practice law. We're just I don't want to say we're just realtors, but we are realtors. We are not attorneys, right? But you want to get that absolutely in writing, Dennis.
Mhm.
So your question, or is it
Well,
just a
the thing is that
clarification?
right now, it's not in writing. So right now, if it goes to contract and they don't put that in the as a rider, then I don't have to worry about it. I just won't, because in all contracts, it says that if it doesn't appraise, then they
Okay.
have an option of backing out
Okay,
of the
so
deal.
Dennis, this is a cover your ass with a tarp moment, all right? I want you to speak to your buyer's attorney, and I
Right.
want you to pose this question and make sure that the language in the contract is there to protect your client. You've
Okay.
had a conversation, your guy is willing to go $10,000 over appraised value, whatever it is.
Right.
Make sure that is crystal clear, because at the end of the day, if there's language in that contract that doesn't protect him and he has to go 20,000 over asked, who's going to be on the hot seat? It's going to be you, not the attorney, because you're the
Okay.
one that's been
All
doing
right.
it.
I'll give a call as soon as we're done with our meeting.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Very good.
thank you.
You're welcome. Sir William Phillip, what's going on, my friend?
Hey there. So I have a question and a comment. I put in a couple of offers recently with an escalation. I'm a huge proponent of escalation because I believe everybody wins, especially the seller. But lost out both of them because of the escalation clause. When the reasoning behind that from the seller's perspective is, hey, if you're able to go to X, why can't you just make that offer instead of trying to, penny pinch and, $5,000 here, $5,000 there. Sorry about that. So that is a huge deflating moment for me.
I'm sorry. That's frustrating. Can I ask you something without revealing who the other agents were? What companies were they with?
Let me think. Oh, that's a good question. I don't remember the name of the company. Prominent Properties. I don't.
Oh, Prominent Properties. Okay, so that's a Sotheby's. So this was a Jersey deal?
What's Prominent? No, I'm sorry. It's not Prominent. What's the one? You know what?
Okay, it doesn't matter. Let me just say this to you. If an escalation clause, if there's pushback on an escalation clause, obviously sellers are the ones that, make the ultimate determination on what they will and will not accept, right? Any offer that you make legally has to be presented, whether it has an escalation clause or not. But the fact of the matter is that if you get pushback on an escalation clause and your people are willing to go to, X number of dollars and they don't want to lose the property, William, then just change the offer and put it in it that way. Escalation clauses are such a mixed bag. I have seen deals go through that we never would have thought and had it not had an escalation clause. And then we have other agents that just don't understand what this is and just give me your best offer. So I think a lot of it has to do with the communication that you have and the negotiations, right, that you are having with the agent on the other side. But I'm sorry that you lost those two. It is frustrating. The market is so hard right now.
Right. And so it almost, initially earlier in this session, you mentioned don't take it personally, not your house. This agent took it, almost sounded as if she took it personally. And when I tried to explain, and she became defensive, saying, I know what escalation clause is. You don't need to explain it to me. So it just felt really uncomfortable. I said, okay. And I just moved on. I didn't want to, there's no point beating a dead horse.
Well, okay, so look, I agree. There is no point in beating a dead horse, but when it comes time to negotiating something, when something gets a little personal, it's perfectly okay. Like Dale and I were talking about this earlier, and he said to me, we've done so many deals, and come on, let's just get it done. It's not my house. It's not your house. We have to take the emotion out of this. How do we meet in the middle so it's a win-win for everybody? Trying to deflate the situation when they take it personally. And listen, I'm really glad you actually brought this up, William, because nobody likes commission breath, as we call it, right? When you're talking to your buyer, or you're talking to your seller, and you're advising them on the negotiations, you want to make sure that you are really advocating for them. You can disagree with them, and you can state your case and make it in such a way that it benefits them, and say, listen, I want you to look at the whole picture on this. But at the end of the day, if they are requiring or requesting something that you think is completely off base, we have a fiduciary responsibility to represent our clients. So you can share, you can say your concerns, say, I'm going to advocate for you. This is what I'm worried about, but let's move forward and see what we can do. But, you want to make sure that you have those conversations so that they don't think that you're looking for your interests and not theirs. Okay, Alina, how are you, honey? What's going on?
I just have a question for you. I've been talking to somebody, and he might be a potential buyer, which will be my first ever. So how do I get them to work with me? Like, how do I drive down that conversation?
Okay, wait, I missed one. Oh, wait, I muted you by accident. Sorry. I went to put your hand down. Unmute yourself, honey. So tell me again what you said. I didn't catch that.
Um, I- sorry, I just so I've been talking to someone and he might be a potential buyer.
A
And
potential buyer, okay.
yes, and I want to know if you have any like tips or how do I can have that conversation where like, I can hone in and
And
giving
get
them
him to work with you?
yes to get him to
Okay,
work with me.
so look, in the absence of value, this is our one of the big lines we use around here. People always go for price and what's easy. So you need to find out what is important to him and have the conversation of what he is looking for. Or, make sure you're very clear on that. Start sending him properties and take him out. And say, I used to say to potential buyers when I was in production all the time, the only way that I'm really going to get to know exactly what you need and help you find the property that you're looking for is if you tell me everything I need to know. Even if it's going on in your head, I want to hear it. So get their budget, get their the school district, the neighborhood, the style house, everything that they want, and then make some appointments and take them out to show them some things and say to them, tell me everything you think, good, bad, ugly. I want to hear it. The more you find out about this person, what they need, what they like, what they want, what they don't like, what they don't want, those are important too. You have a better shot at finding them a property that they will be happy with. Okay, so it's all about, and this is off topic right now, which is fine. And you and I can discuss this later because you're in, I'll come out and talk to you about this in a minute. But it's real, and this actually can bode well in terms of negotiations as well. We go back, knowledge is power, right? So understanding what they need, what they want, what they can afford, getting them out, and then listening to what they have to say so that when, there's not a lot on the market, let's just say they're not in the area, you say to them, I'm going to go run and take a look at this property for you. I don't want you to waste your time. And you'll know, okay, this doesn't have a fireplace. The kitchen isn't laid out the way they want. The bedroom configuration isn't right. And you save time. Or conversely, you find them the house that they want and you say, you need to get here right now. And we need to put an offer in on this because you know what they want, they know what you need, and you are offering value to them. So we'll come and talk about this I'll come out and talk to you about this in a little bit. Okay. Okay, Abby, I'm going to come back to you on that in a minute. Okay. Kathleen, what's going on?
Just a quick little comment about escalation clauses.
Okay.
A quick example is that we were the 15th showing that day. And these people fell in love with this house, and I didn't know them very well, but I said to them, if you have any interest, you're going to have to make the offer, you're going to lose it. 15 showings just today, there will be offers. So they thought about it, they went to dinner, they came back, they made a full price offer. They said to me, should I make a more than full price offer? And I said, just start with that. We can maybe work through it, just start with that. A little while later, another full price offer came in, went to highest and best. Both parties, including me, put in the escalation clause. We went up 5,000. We had an escalation clause of another 5. And I said, only go as high as you're comfortable. Don't leave it on the table, but be comfortable with what you're offering. Well, the other offer came in 5,000 more exactly, and a $50,000 escalation clause.
15, you said?
50.
Oh my.
Yeah, everyone almost fell over. And what happened was, the seller said the seller had been present on his deck during that day with the showings, which was to my advantage actually. And he didn't believe the $50,000 offer escalation. He thought that they were going to try to renegotiate that later. He just wanted to secure the win, and they just said no.
Right.
So it's just sometimes, and now lately that I've seen here in Ulster County is a number of the listings say do not add escalation clauses.
Right. Look.
So it's just, one of those things.
Yeah. And again, it's a tool that can be effective. I think a lot of this, and William and I have had this conversation numerous times, is about the relationship and the way that you interact with the agent on the other side of the deal. If you come in like gangbusters, and you're difficult and frustrating to that other agent, it's not going to go well. because at the end of the day, you have to represent your client, but in that one transaction. But if Kathleen and I are in the same marketplace, we could be doing business back and forth. And we've all had it, right? Where you open up an email and there's something from another agent and you see them and you have one of three reactions. The first is, oh, I'm so happy. I really love working with Kathleen and she's fantastic. The second is, oh, for crying out loud, I got to deal with Kathleen. She's a pain in my rump. Or the third is, oh, I've never met Kathleen. Let's see how this goes. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be a pain in the rump, except to my husband, but that's another story. So, you really need to take a look at that and how you want to be perceived, because that can set the negotiations. And you can be a tough negotiator and be very, very clear, but kind, and people can walk away feeling okay. All right.
And one more thing about that, you're so incredibly right, because the agent, when I put the offer in, he got back to me, said, this is a great offer and I'm going to try to get this signed as soon as possible. We really want to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
So he already had that impression.
Right. And had you done business with him before?
Not too much, but we do know each other.
Right. Absolutely. All right. I want to, Abby put something in the chat. I want to just take a look at it. The whole no pre-approval required makes this so hard, at least for me, to be bringing buyers out for showings. Okay, Abby, listen, I want to clarify this. This is really super important. So we have this new standard operating procedure. This Department of State is requiring it for us, okay? Keller Williams does not require a pre-approval. They do not require a buyer's exclusive. And there was a third thing. What was the third thing? The pre-approval, the buyer's exclusive, and I'm blanking on the third.
The
ID.
buyers, the agreement.
ID.
ID.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
ID.
Okay, so the ID. That doesn't mean that you don't require it. You can say to Joe homeowner, listen, or Joe home buyer, my company's policy is that we do not require a pre-approval. I personally will not take a buyer out without one. So if you are not comfortable getting a pre-approval, that's fine. And you have to make a decision whether you want to take them out once or not, right? I would, if it's somebody that you think is worth it, I would take them out one time without a pre-approval. But I would explain to them that in order for you to put an offer in on a property, you have to be able to show the seller how you plan on paying for that property. And if you don't have the money to do so, you can't make an offer. And if they absolutely refuse, turn around and give them to another agent in your office that can represent them, and then you'll get a referral on it.
Yeah.
That would be my advice there. Is that okay? Does that answer your question,
Yeah,
Abby?
it does. It makes sense. Yeah, because even when I'm sending out listings, but it's like, yeah, I know they have money. They probably could be cash buyers. But it's just like, I don't know like what to send them as far as like, so I'm sending them like these like houses that are on the lower end all the way up into the millions, because it makes my job harder too without that.
But also, time is money. And I would say to them, listen, in this market, okay, there's 4 houses on the market and there's 400 people that want them. The inventory is so low. What is your goal? Why are you moving? What do you have to do? Really do a very in-depth needs analysis with these people, because you don't want to be, tramping around, bringing a buyer out all over the place, spend 3 months with them, and you find out they don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So listen, you can find all of that information out on a preliminary standpoint without physically seeing a pre-approval. And if, Abby, you're effective in your questioning, they're going to understand that they need to show you the pre-approval or the proof of funds. The other side of this, and this is not uncommon today, is that more times than not, sellers will not let somebody in their home unless they have a pre-approval or proof of funds. So when you start doing a search for those properties, for what they would be interested in, take a look at the agent remarks and see what the expectation is and say to them, Mr. Buyer, you want to
Yeah.
see 123 Main Street? They're not letting you in without your proof of funds. I can't even get an appointment until I produce it. And if they refuse to give it to you at that point, bye-bye. Have a lovely
Yeah.
day. Give them to somebody down the street that will take care of them within, that's the way that I would do this. And Abby, if you need to role play on this,
Mhm.
you let me know and I'll kick it around with you. I'm going to put my phone number in the chat here. For
Thank you,
everybody.
Liz.
You're very welcome. Where's my cell? If anybody needs me. Sir Dennis, what's going on? And then we're going to
Yeah,
wrap up.
so someone wrote a chat in the chat. Has anyone on the Zoom challenged an appraisal?
Oh,
I'd
does
like
anyone?
to-
Okay.
And so I'd like to just tell you that I did, and I'll tell you what happened.
Okay.
I had a house in Woodstock that just didn't have comparatives. It was a single family with a rental,
Mhm.
four family rental. There are none in Woodstock. So when we originally went to the broker, for the, they couldn't find comparative. So we ended up suggesting going to a local bank.
Mhm.
And it just so happens that the president of the local bank lived in Woodstock.
So he understood the market.
So he understood the value of this house in Woodstock and then in the praised above. So you could always, and then I had another one, which was down in Ellenville that we asked for another appraisal. We asked for another appraiser and they then went back and we found comparatives that then brought the appraisal above the list price.
Okay, great.
So, you can challenge it.
Yes, the appraisals can be challenged. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Mhm.
But again, negotiations, relationships, conversations, having the right conversation with the bank, with the mortgage broker, those kinds of things can make all the difference in the world.
And
All
let
right.
me just say that the relationship with the other agent in that second one in Ellenville was crucial. He lived in that area. He was able to help me by getting the comparatives.
Right.
Because I live up in Woodstock. He lived around Ellenville area.
Yeah.
So
And
the relationship with the other agent's very important.
Very
like you
important.
said. Yeah.
Okay, so these
Thank
are
you.
our takeaways from today. And I thank all of you for playing with me. You want to make sure that you keep it positive. You want to set very, very clear expectations with your buyer and or seller, finding out what is important to them. And the other bit of this is you need to have open dialogue. Don't take things personally. Keep it light. Always try to kick the ball down the field. Taking a really hard, difficult position is never, ever going to get you where you want to be. All right. We are continuing this listing series. The next one will be next week, and it's going to be on marketing, and Rita will be taking care of that. Celeste, I'm going to call you about a script partner, so don't worry about that. I've seen there's things in the chat. Is there anything I'm missing? Andrea's in Ellenville if anybody needs anything. So we'll go from there. All right, listen, everybody go forth, conquer the day. If you have any questions, you have my number. I hope you all have a great day and good luck. Happy negotiating.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Liz.
My pleasure, guys.